Jeff, thank you. Well, the scene, something from a nightmare. This was what emergency crews arrived to find along State Route 7 back in September after a tractor trailer rear-ended a Dodge Neon. Miraculously, the woman in that car survived and is now home recovering with her family.
It's a story that appeared tragic when our cameras first arrived at the scene, but has since evolved into nothing short of a miracle. News 9's John Rutter sat down with that woman. He brings us her story.
Well, picture this accident in the scene. All 4 lanes of traffic closed with rescue workers working frantically for over an hour to get the victim in that crash out of the car. The car now hardly recognizable for Dominique Powell, who was flown from the scene that night. But when she went back to see the damage inside the vehicle was something that she'll never forget and a sign that someone was watching over her. Let's take you back to September 20th. This is the scene along State Route 7 in Stratton after a semi rear-ended a car at a stoplight. The passenger of this blue Dodge Neon flown from the scene after crews worked for over an hour to get her out.
I have no memory. The last thing I remember is just driving down, passing Toronto on my way home from work.
Miraculously, Dominique Powell survived that crash, but not without significant injury. A broken hand, ribs, a collapsed lung, and 14 pins in her back left her in the hospital for a week after that crash. But there's still a long road to recovery.
The one surgeon said if he would have shown the picture to 100 other surgeons, doctors, and said, do you think this person is alive or dead? And he said all 100 would say dead.
After seeing pictures from the accident that night and video from the scene here on News 9, what happened that night began to come clear. But Dominique still wanted to see the car herself for closure. What she discovered while she was there, she's convinced is the reason for her survival that night.
My grandma, I have her tattooed on me with angel wings. And right before the accident, 2 days was her birthday before that, and I had taken up a bag of candy up to the cemetery and shared with her as her favorite candy. When I went to my car, a couple of days after I got out of the hospital, that bag of candy was sitting right on the seat of my car, right in my driver's seat.
Fighting along the road to recovery for the community that has rallied around her, Dominique is also thanking her guardian angel for making the journey possible.
That's one of my things I want to get tattooed. I want to get the date of the day that she saved my life.
Now, since the accident, Dominique hasn't been able to go back to work, so in response, the community is holding a benefit dinner for her on November the 8th at the Wellsville American Legion. Dominique will be back in surgery this morning as her recovery continues. In Studio 9, I'm John Rutter for News 9 Sunrise.